conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I'd like to call the Site Plan Review Committee to order for Tuesday, November 7th, 2023. Roll call, please.
Mayor Kodowski.
Here.
Gary Paul.
Here.
Dennis Persick.
Here.
Dale Quinn.
Here.
Gary Rathburn.
Here.
Pam Burns excused, and so is Karowski.
Okay, please stand for the pledge. And please remember our men and women throughout the world in uniform. I have no changes to the agenda. I need a motion to approve, please.
Make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 5, action on the minutes from the Site Plan Review Committee of October 3rd, 2023.
Move to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve those minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Number 6, action items. 6A, consider, discuss, act on a request from Lamar Advertising regarding the relocation of a billboard and structure to parcel VA-213-3. Aaron.
All right, thank you. I'll just share my screen and bring up a image of the relocation site. So as you see, here's a map of the village of Ashwaubenon. The proposal is to relocate an existing static billboard from the site that you see here, where it says remove at Ready Mix Concrete on US 41, Interstate 41, dating myself a bit, to State Highway 172 near the airport on airport-owned property. The sign, as is static right now, will be relocated and replaced with a two-sided LED billboard. Under our code, for a relocation or replacement of a billboard, it is required to come to Site Plan Review Committee and Plan Commission and Village Board for ultimate approval. In terms of the relocation of a billboard, is required to meet a series of criteria that we have identified in the staff report. In this case, the proposed relocation does check all the boxes for the criteria for the relocation. And in addition to that, there are those 3 initial bullet point conditions that are required to be met prior to the relocation, including the comply with the applicable ordinances for the location and construction of billboards. Prior to the relocation, obtain a demolition permit from our office for that. And then last but not least, as I mentioned, approval by the Site Plan Review Committee, Planning Commission, and Village Board. As I mentioned, it does check all the boxes for the criteria for the relocation of a billboard. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, Don Schneider of Lamar Advertising is also in the audience if you have any questions for him.
Okay, does anybody have any questions about this? I know that we only allow however many billboards that we now have, so that is why one has to come down when this one gets moved.
Correct, you're at 16.
Yeah. Okay. If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept. Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the request from Lamar Advertising to relocate the billboard to parcel VA-213-3. Any other comments? And these, I think they're already met.
These are to be required.
Right, but I think they are met.
The 3 bullet points are in code. They're required to be met regardless if it's a condition or not.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, any other comments, concerns, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, 6B, consider, discuss, act on a planned unit development PUD amendment request for a new 4-story Cambria hotel located at 2113 to 2145 South Oneida Street, Parcels VA-67-A-8, VA-67-A, VA-460-P-108, and VA-90-4-11. Aaron.
All right, I'll share my screen again. All right, so this is at direction of the village board. The village board at their October meeting requested a PUD amendment be brought through to basically tie the site plan as proposed and the PUD together in one package, so to speak. Along with that, the village board did direct some changes to the site plan, which are reflected in the staff report, including removing the southernmost driveway access on South Oneida Street. And as you can see here on the site plan, that was removed. Add a sidewalk for pedestrian access across the parking lot islands from Element Way to the primary hotel entrance, and then expand the parking lot islands to maintain the planned trees. That sidewalk you can see right here goes through the parking lot islands to the main entrance. And there was further clarification that will include access ramps and striping as crosswalks through the parking lot. I'll go to the landscape plan here. Include a landscape buffer in the parking lot along South Oneida Street. As you can see here, there's extensive landscaping buffer along South Oneida Street with trees and shrubs. Relocate the bicycle rack to a location near the primary hotel entrance. Going back to the site plan, the bike parking right now is right next to the primary entrance. Include a direct entrance to the restaurant from South Oneida Street. There is now a direct entrance on the site plan right here. Actually is a new vestibule with access directly from South Oneida Street. And then last, amend the planned unit development ordinance to be consistent with the revised site plan. So as a result of that request, that's why it comes back through site plan review committee for review and recommendation, because any PUD amendment does have to come back through site plan review committee and plan commission and village board. In terms of the PUD amendment itself, I did include a detailed review of the plan unit development amendment as compared to the PUD and site plan review committee approval criteria in the ordinance or in the staff report as well. So there isn't really a whole lot of change from the site plan that was originally recommended last month. In terms of the floor plates, they're the same. Exterior elevations are also still the same mixture of masonry, metal wall panels with fully concealed fasteners, screened rooftop mechanicals, so on and so forth. So those are the changes that were brought forth from the village board action in October. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, the development team is also in the audience if you have any questions for them.
Aaron, one of the issues, and I talked to you about this, that somebody brought up to me was the signage, but that is a separate package.
That's correct. Signage will be submitted separately with a signage package.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Aaron, for the second time, I'm going to ask the same question. Has this met all of our ordinances on the plan unit development and any other plan unit developments that we have done to meet all these specifications that the board is asking?
Yes.
Why are we bringing it here the second time?
The direction we received from the board
Because
was,
of a few board members, not all the board members. It was not a unanimous vote. You know, I want to make that clear. There was not right. This thing has irritated me for some time. How many times do we have to use staff time to recreate something that was right in the first place?
I think, Gary, we can address those issues with you directly in person outside of the meeting. Ultimately, with this particular example, we have a development that requires a plan unit development. ordinance in order for it to comply with the village's ordinances. So as a standalone without the plan unit development ordinance, this particular project would not comply with the zoning code, in particular as it relates to height requirements. And then as a result of that, the village board for that matter, and to some degree maybe site plan and plan commission, have expected a certain set of outcomes as it relates to this overall site plan. The first element that was discussed early on was parking. So our current code does not require a minimum parking standard, but because of the height issue, parking was a component that needed to be considered as part of the PUD. There are other elements within the site plan that I think Aaron has articulated that were discussed and deliberated at the board level, that the developer has been very, very willing partner in making sure that the overall site plan meets the consensus of the board in order to get its approval as a result of it being through a PUD process. So at the end of the day, what we're trying to accomplish is meeting everyone's goals as it relates to what the intended outcome is going to be with this particular project, knowing that we have a plan unit development that gives, to some degree, a degree of discretion as to what elements should be included or not included in the overall site plan. Again, I think this going through the process, if this were a strict application of code, it would be very simple and it would either meet the standard or not. But because you have a PUD and you have different viewpoints as to what mitigating circumstances should be incorporated into the site plan to eliminate any adverse issues with height and other components like parking, I think it's certainly well within the means of the board to bring it back. But with that being said, here we are. And again, I think Aaron had articulated it well to you, Gary, to your point, is that the present proposal, the site plan, and the amended PUD reflect what is allowable both under code and within the rights of the village in relation to its statutory rights to planned development districts.
You know, 90% of what you said was taken care of after the roundabout. Then the trustees wanted to add in what Aaron had already said. You know, I don't know, it just frustrates the hell out of me.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? So I will entertain a motion.
I do have a question, I guess. Is this motion for us to, I mean, what are we approving here?
What you'd be doing is making a recommendation to the Plan Commission and Village Board.
We're not approving anything. I mean, we're just agreeing with the.
Correct.
Correct. If we vote yes.
Correct.
Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion?
All right, I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to recommend approval of the PUD for 2113 to 2145 Oneida Street. Any other comments, questions, concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, number 7, department reports.
All right. So those of you who have driven around the village lately, up near Target, the former San Luis Manor property, there's fencing up. Construction equipment is there to start the demolition. So I'm happy to see that project continuing to move forward, getting rid of that building, and then seeing the start of the promenade, which this committee recommended approval last month. So things are definitely moving ahead there, which we're all happy about.
Okay. Do we have any items for next agenda?
Not currently.
Okay.
Aaron, what's going on with the property on Ashland Avenue where Bellin is building? Are they doing any surveying?
So the old airport Holiday Inn, that property, their plans are in for construction review right now at E-Plan exam. So they're moving forward.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I need a motion to adjourn, please.
Move. Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. We are adjourned.